Hey guys, good morning. Sam here with another session of useful expressions, A to Z. I hope you guys are having a great day. You're starting your day off great. We finished our A's, our B's. So we're going to go into the C topics today. I hope you guys had a chance to check out my other sessions. If you didn't, don't worry. They are going to go up on YouTube. I'm also going to post the session notes as highlights. I started doing that for the last one because somebody mentioned they didn't have a chance to take a look at them. So hopefully this will make it easier for you guys to find them. And I don't know how long they stay at highlights, so if you want to take notes, make sure you take notes. But for now, they're going to be up there. Hi to everyone who just joined in. Good morning. Hi, Vahid. Good to see you. And Puya, good to see you guys. Thank you for joining me this morning. I hope you guys are having a great morning. I hope you've had your breakfast and you're ready to get going to start learning some English. I'm just going to wait a little bit for some more people to join and then we'll get started. Hi, Sume. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names. It's honestly because I'm just reading it. I'm saying it the way I read it. So if I say it wrong, you can correct me if you want. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in. Hi, Godlove, IMK. Good to see you again. Hi, Elahe. Thank you for joining in. So today we're going to start with our C topics. We actually finished the B topics last session. The last one for that one was the boring topic. I hope you guys found those expressions to be useful. Today we're going to get started with talking about some expressions we can use to cheer people up. You know, sometimes people are feeling bad, they're feeling down. For whatever reason, they're unhappy. And we want to help them feel happy again. So we can use some expressions to let them know that things are going to get better or to make them feel better. And, in those kind of times, it's usually we rather not be in that kind of situation, but sometimes life is hard and, our friends or our family are feeling down and we just want to cheer them up. So these are really good expressions to use. Hey, Hamid, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining me this morning. Good morning to the rest of you guys who just jumped in. So we're going to get started on our... You're going to go to sleep, Donya. Why? It's the morning. You should be waking up, not going to sleep. But yeah, if you need to go, you can go ahead and check out the live later. I am going to post it on Instagram, so if you guys need to, you can't stay through all of it, it's okay. You can check it out later. They're also going to all get uploaded on YouTube. So if you need to go do something, don't feel bad. I'm just joking with you. You can go ahead and catch a nap. What time is it? Oh, I'm not in Canada, God love IMK. I'm actually in Tehran right now, but it is 11:34 p.m. in Canada. So just in case you want to know. In Vancouver, I should say. Canada is a very large country, so there is actually a 3-hour time difference between the west coast and the east coast of Canada. So that's a little bit of information for you. All right, guys. So I'm going to get started with our session today. Yeah, man, it's a huge country. Go ahead and catch some sleep, Donya. You can watch the live later. So I'm going to get started with today's expressions. We're going to start with cheering people up, some expressions about that. I'm going to turn off the comments while I'm talking about them. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me afterwards. And, just write them down so you don't forget. Yeah, God love IMK. It's actually 11:35, not 45 p.m. in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. All right, guys. So let's get started. I'm going to turn off comments and here we go. Sometimes our friends or our family or people we care about are not feeling good. They're unhappy, they're feeling down for some reason, and we want to cheer them up. We can use the expressions that we're going to talk about today, to try and cheer them up, or at least show that we care and we are there for them, okay? So the first one is really easy. Cheer up. Cheer up. Or chin up. We use this expression when we see somebody looks unhappy. It's very informal. We see somebody is looking unhappy, and we want to tell them, hey, you should try to feel better. So we say, hey, cheer up. What's wrong? You look like you're not happy today. Cheer up. Or keep your chin up. Keep your chin up is very similar to cheer up. It means don't let things get you down. Try to keep yourself happy. So, I know you're not feeling well right now, but you should try to keep your chin up. Okay, you should keep your chin up. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you down. Keep your chin up, okay? So very simply, we can just say, hey, cheer up. It's a good day. It's a special holiday and you see somebody isn't feeling good. They're down. They're not in a good mood. You say, cheer up. It's a celebration. We should be happy right now. Keep your chin up. Don't let your problems get you down, okay? Now, the next one is also very simple. It's smile. You tell somebody, hey, you should smile. It's a wedding. You should smile. When there's a happy occasion or something that somebody, you notice somebody isn't feeling good or they look like they're not happy, you can remind them that they can put their problems behind for now and they can try to smile now. So just tell somebody to smile. It's a very good way of cheering them up. Another way of telling somebody to smile is to use this expression, turn that frown upside down. Turn that frown upside down. So a frown is, like this. When we're sad, our mouth has that frowny face. When we say turn that frown upside down, we're saying you should smile. If you notice somebody who's sad, you tell them, turn that frown upside down. What's wrong? Turn that frown upside down. You're basically asking somebody to smile and to feel good. So the next expression is when we want to console somebody, when something bad has happened, and we want to let them know that things are going to be okay. So for example, maybe somebody got a really bad mark on the test. Maybe they failed their test. You can tell them, hey, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so when something bad happens and somebody's feeling sad because of it, we want to remind them that, this isn't the end. You should try to move past this. We say, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so for example, you fail your test. I tell you, hey man, it's not the end of the world. You have other chances. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You can do better next time. All right. So this is an expression we use when something bad has happened to somebody and we want to console them about it. Okay. It probably shouldn't be used if it's something really bad, like if somebody dies. You shouldn't say it's not the end of the world, because then you're downplaying their feelings, right? If it's something that's bad but not so bad that they should get stuck on it, right? Something bad happens, like they lose their favorite pen. They lose their favorite pen and they're sad. You're like, it's not the end of the world. You can buy another pen. But if they lose their mobile phone, you probably shouldn't say that if it's really expensive. So if it's something really bad, you shouldn't use this expression. But if it's something that, the person can easily recover from or they can recover from, you use this expression to remind them that it's not so bad, okay? It's not the end of the world. You didn't get to see the show. You can watch the rerun at some point later, all right? The next one is an idiom or a proverb that's used a lot in the UK, in the United Kingdoms. This idiom, basically means the same thing. So it says, worse things happen at sea. Worse things happen at sea. We use this proverb in a similar situation as we use the last expression. So if something bad happens, it's not, it's not as bad as it could be. It's basically a minor incident. You can say, worse things happen at sea. This proverb, it comes from the time when there was a lot of ship travel, and it's a British one. But the first part you can actually use at any point. Like you can say, there are worse things happening in the world. You don't have to say at sea. You can say, there are worse things happening in the world, or there could be worse things happening, than you losing your pen, your favorite pen, or whatever. Okay? The next expressions, the next two expressions we're going to talk about, is when you want to encourage somebody to look at the good side of something, okay? The positive side of something. When something, bad happened, but you're pointing out that maybe there is some positive aspect to it. There's something good about it. So you tell them, look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. Usually after this expression, we should mention what the bright side is. So for example, if somebody is, they are visiting you, and when they want to go back, they miss their flight. You say, hey, look on the bright side. We can spend more time together, okay? Because they missed their flight. It's a bad thing because they paid for the flight, but there is a good side. You can spend more time together. So look on the bright side. We can spend more time together. Or, somebody loses their favorite pen, their lucky pen. You say, look on the bright side. You can get a better pen. You can get a new pen that's better. Okay, so look on the bright side. You point out something positive afterwards. There's another idiom or expression that is used in the English language, that is, every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. The meaning of this expression is the same as look on the bright side. Basically, we're saying that every negative situation has a positive aspect to it. Okay, so usually in everyday conversation, instead of saying the whole expression, we just say silver lining. So we say, look at the silver lining. Okay, look at the silver lining, or don't forget the silver lining. Instead of saying the whole proverb, we just use the silver lining to point out what's positive. So similar to the last expression, we say, hey, look at the silver lining. You get to buy a new, better pen. You get to buy something better. Or, for example, if for some reason your favorite TV show is canceled and you're really sad about it, you say, you're trying to console them. You say, hey, look at the silver lining. Now you have more time to do the things you want to do, because you're not watching the show. You have more time to exercise. Look at the silver lining, okay? The next expression is used to encourage somebody after they failed, after they're feeling frustrated about not being able to do something. It's to encourage them and to cheer them up. Okay, so for example, somebody takes a driving test and they fail. You tell them, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Okay, so hey, it's not a big deal you failed. Practice makes perfect. Next time you're going to do better. Okay, so you're encouraging them to keep up what they're doing, and you're telling them next time it's going to be better because they're practicing. They're going to get better at it. Or if somebody is trying to learn something like how to play a musical instrument and they are frustrated with how slow they're advancing, you tell them, don't feel bad. Practice makes perfect. Okay. This is a really common expression. Practice makes perfect. You can use it to talk about this idea that you're going to get better at something the more you do it, okay? So very, very useful expression. Make sure you try and use it in your everyday conversations so you don't forget how to use it, okay? The next expression is for somebody who was just in a relationship and for whatever reason the relationship ended, okay? And this is a romantic relationship. For somebody who was in a romantic relationship, so they had like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, something like that, and the relationship just ended, and they're feeling sad about it. So you tell them, hey, don't worry, there are plenty more fish in the sea. There are plenty more fish in the sea. Or you can say plenty of fish in the sea. Both of them have the same idea. This expression means, it's not the end of the world. There are a lot of people out there who could be a good match for you. That's what it means, okay? So when you tell somebody there are plenty more fish in the sea, what you're saying is there are a lot of people out there who might be a good match for you. It's not the end of the world that your relationship ended. You're going to meet somebody new. Okay, so my friend's relationship, romantic relationship ended. I want to let him know it's going to be okay. I'm like, hey man, I know you're feeling bad right now, but there are plenty more fish in the sea. You're going to meet someone new. It's going to be awesome again. All right, you can basically let them know that there will be some new relationship. They can look forward to that. The last two expressions, they might seem a little bit less sympathetic, like you're ignoring the person's feelings. But sometimes, the person needs to just forget whatever is making them feel bad and move on. So you can use these expressions. So you can say something like, lighten up. Lighten up. Lighten up. Okay, so for example, my friend had a breakup in his relationship and he's just feeling down. I'm like, hey man, you just need to lighten up. Get over it. Lighten up. And the next expression is, there is no use crying over spilt milk. There is no use crying over spilt milk. We can also use spilled milk here. Both of them are correct. Don't worry. So there is no use crying over spilt milk. What this expression means is, if there was an accident, if there was something that happened, there's nothing we can change about it, so we shouldn't feel bad about it anymore, okay? So for example, if you break your favorite dish, it's broken now, so there's nothing you can do. So there's no use crying over spilt milk. There's no use feeling bad over something that happened, that was negative, okay? That's what this expression means. You can use it to try and tell somebody, they should move on from whatever happened. It shouldn't be something very serious. Like if someone important to someone dies, you shouldn't tell them there's no use crying over spilled milk. It's very inconsiderate. You should try to cheer them up somehow, some other way. But in some situations, it's okay to use. Like, for example, if somebody forgets to do something, you can tell them, hey, it's no use. There's no use crying over spilled milk because you forgot. It's bad, but you can make up for it. You should just move on and try to do what you can. Okay? All right, guys. So I'm going to turn on comments, and you guys, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. If you guys have just joined in, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining in on this live session. Don't worry about missing anything. I'm going to post these on my Instagram page. They're going to be up there for 24 hours. and eventually they'll go up on YouTube. That might take a little bit longer because the guy who does that is very busy and he has to upload a lot of videos. But at some point they're all going to be on YouTube. I'm going to post my notes for these sessions on my story, and you guys can check that out. If you want to write down notes, you can use those to write some notes down. Hopefully you'll have a chance to check it out. If not, I will highlight the story later so that you guys have a longer time. I don't know how long the highlights will stay, so if you want to take notes, make sure you write them down. I will probably at some point clear out the highlights because I really don't like my page being too busy. Hi, Sajjad, and no problem, Nagin. I'm happy to help you guys out, and you too, Sudabe. Good to see you here. I'm really glad that some of you guys are returning. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. You guys are finding what I'm doing useful, which is awesome. Okay, so if there are no questions about the expressions we use for cheering people up, we can move on to our next topic. Our next topic is going to be for criticizing mistakes. For criticizing mistakes, it's usually not a very nice thing to do. Usually when somebody makes a mistake, you don't want to criticize them, but sometimes it's necessary because sometimes there's something, somebody does something that directly affects you and you want to criticize them. So be careful when you use some of these expressions. We don't want to be rude to people. We don't want to burn any bridges, right? We don't want to make our relationships, put stress on our relationships. But sometimes you do need to talk to people about some things, and it's good to know how to do that properly, okay? So I'm going to start the next session. I'm going to turn off comments. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and write them down. Sajjad, I will try to speak a little bit slower, for sure. Thank you for reminding me. Hi, Part6. Thank you for joining in. Good morning to you. So I'm going to turn off comments, and if you guys have questions, please write them down and ask me after, okay? Here we go. All right, so we're going to learn some expressions for criticizing mistakes. Like I said, most of the time we don't want to criticize people because it could be considered to be impolite or it's just not very nice to do. But sometimes we need to do it, and it's good to know how to do it properly, to have some expressions to be able to talk about things, okay? So the first one is, that wasn't very clever. That wasn't very clever. Now, a lot of these expressions, depending on how you say it, it can sound very critical. It can sound like you're basically mad at somebody, or it can sound like a friendly criticism. So be careful how you say it. So if I say like, that wasn't very clever, I sound mad, right? I'm like telling somebody what they did made me mad. So be careful how you say these and which words you emphasize. But if I'm like saying, oh man, that wasn't very clever, it sounds like I'm just doing a friendly criticism. So be careful how you use these expressions. We use that wasn't very clever when somebody does something that we think it wasn't very smart to do. And it sounds really critical because we're basically saying somebody is dumb. What they did wasn't smart, and it essentially means that they're not very smart. So be careful when you use this. But if you're with your friends, sometimes you just jokingly say it, or you want to criticize them. Your friend broke up with his ex and he calls them again. You're like, man, that wasn't very clever. You're just doing this to yourself again. Maybe somebody wants to break a law, but there's a police officer standing right there, and you say that's not very clever. The cops are right here. Okay. The next expression is, what were you thinking of? What were you thinking of? This is very similar to that wasn't very clever. It's basically criticizing their thinking process, saying it wasn't smart. You did something dumb. Depending on how you say it, it might sound like you're really mad at the person. Like, what were you thinking of? Sounds like you're mad at them. Sounds like, things aren't good. So be careful, again, depending on how you want to say these expressions. So what were you thinking of? You're criticizing the decision making of somebody, okay? So if somebody does something that you don't think is smart, like maybe while they're driving, they're also looking down on their phone, which they shouldn't be, and they almost hit somebody. So you say, what were you thinking of, man? You shouldn't, look at your phone and drive. You should focus on the road, okay? So sometimes you need to be critical, and it's good to let the person know, you're being dumb. What you're doing is stupid, okay? All right, the next phrase is critical, but it's more towards the friendly side, right? This is more of when somebody does something they shouldn't do, but you don't want to rub salt on their wound. You don't want to make them feel bad about it. You say, I bet you wish you hadn't done that. I bet you wish you hadn't done that. So this phrase basically means, I bet right now you're sorry you did whatever you did, okay? So, for example, if somebody is angry and they yell at, their mom, and then when they calm down, you're like, man, I bet you wish you hadn't done that. I bet you wish you hadn't yelled at your mom. And the guy, the person probably feels bad, so you're probably right, okay? So when somebody does something they regret, or somebody does something you think they should regret, you tell them, I bet you wish you hadn't done that, okay? The next expression is kind of similar to this. It's, why on earth did you go and do that? Why on earth did you go and do that? So pay attention. We use the rise fall intonation for earth. Why on earth did you go and do that for this expression? To emphasize, what the hell were you thinking, man? So, somebody, again, does something that you think they should regret, you can use this expression to question their actions, right? So, maybe they're really mad at the time and they say some things they shouldn't say. Afterwards, you can say, why on earth did you go and do that? Why on earth did you go and throw out your clothes or whatever? Okay. The next expression is not friendly at all. It is very critical. And you say this when somebody screws up pretty bad. Like you say, you made a right mess of that, or things. You made a right mess of things. This expression means you made everything bad. You have screwed things up. It can be offensive if you use this expression improperly, so be careful when you use it. It is not a friendly expression. If you say this to somebody, you're basically telling them they messed up. They did something really wrong, okay? Now, the next two expressions are more friendly. They're usually actually always friendly in tone. And we use them to point out somebody's mistake. So we say, I wouldn't do that again. I wouldn't do that again. We stress that, when we use this expression, we put stress on that. I wouldn't do that again. Okay. We can also add, if somebody was in a hurry and they did something, they made a mistake. I wouldn't do that again in a hurry. I wouldn't do that again in a hurry. Okay, you use this to point out when somebody made a mistake. Like somebody is in a rush, so they go out of their house and they forgot to lock the door. You notice they haven't locked the door. You say, hey man, you forgot to lock the door to your house. I wouldn't do that again. Okay, I wouldn't do that again. The next one is really easy. Oops. Oops. When you make a mistake or somebody makes a mistake, oops. It's not very critical. You're just pointing out, hey, you made a mistake. Oops. The next expression is a very strong expression, and usually we use this to talk about when there is some bad situation happening. So, what a total disaster. What a disaster. What a total disaster. We use this expression when we walk into something and we see, wow, things are bad here. So maybe you go home and you see that your kids have messed up the house. You say, what a disaster. What a total disaster. When we use total, it makes it stronger. So if you don't want to make it stronger, don't use total. So what a disaster. What a total disaster. What have you guys done? Okay. Or we go into, we go to our job and we see that there's been a lot of things that have been done wrong. We say, what a total disaster. What have you guys been up to? Why did you do all these things? What a total disaster. The next expression is something, I have actually two of them. One of them is for the UK and the other one is for the US. We use this when somebody says something by accident. They say something they shouldn't have said, maybe a secret, they say it accidentally. So in the UK, they say, you put your foot in it, or you put your foot in there. You put your foot in it. In the US, they say, put your foot in your mouth. Okay, so you put your foot in your mouth. This means that you said something by accident that's embarrassing or upsets somebody. So maybe your friend told you a secret and you accidentally forgot, you shouldn't tell somebody about it and you told them that secret. Or maybe you say something embarrassing. So if your friend says something embarrassing, you can say, you put your foot in your mouth. If you're in the US or if you're in the UK, you put your foot in it. It means that they said something they shouldn't have said, okay? And the last expression I want to talk about is when somebody says something offensive. Somebody says something rude or offensive to somebody else. You tell them, that was a bit uncalled for. That was a bit uncalled for. You can drop the bit to and just say, that was uncalled for. That was uncalled for. This is a really common expression, guys. You can use this one a lot. If somebody says something offensive, like an offensive joke, or if they make fun of somebody else, or if they're yelling at somebody, if they're being mean to somebody, you can use this expression. You can say, that was uncalled for. Why are you being so mean to this person? That was a bit uncalled for. That joke is really rude. You shouldn't say that joke. That was uncalled for. If they're having a fight with somebody over something small, you can say, that's uncalled for, man. You're fighting over nothing. What are you fighting over? That is uncalled for. Okay? Very good expression to learn, and try to use it in your everyday conversations if you can. I'm going to turn on comments again. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. So these expressions, be careful how you use them. We don't want to offend anybody. But sometimes we do need to point out somebody made a mistake, and it's good to do it properly, okay? Hey, Mehdi, nice of you to join me. Hi, Mariam, good morning to you guys. If you guys are just joining in, I'm going to post this session on my Instagram page for 24 hours and then on YouTube, so don't worry, you can go and watch it again. I'm going to put my notes up, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. You can just take notes afterwards. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and ask them. I would be happy to explain any of this stuff to you. So what was the last word? So sudabe, it was, the last expression was, that was uncalled for, F-O-R. Or that was a bit uncalled for, okay? It's a very good expression to learn. Yeah, like this is a really good way of telling somebody they were out of line, right? It's a very good way of telling somebody that, you know, what you did was over the top. It was unnecessary. Hey, Siamak, I'm good, man. I hope you're doing good as well. I hope you're having a great morning. I'm not mad at you. Good. Please explain. Some are difficult for me. Leila, if you are confused about some of the ones I said, you can go back. I try to use examples for each one. I will also post the notes up after the session. So if you check my story, I will type out all the expressions so you can read them. If you need more examples, guys, you can Google each of these expressions and usually find some really good examples of how they are used. Yes, uncalled for. That is exactly right, Mariam. That's exactly right. So if you guys feel like you need some more examples, you can definitely Google it. And there's tons of good resources on the internet for practicing your pronunciation, for looking at examples so you can make sentences or use these in your daily conversations. Where are you right now? I'm in Tehran right now, Siamak. I'm in quarantine in Tehran, you know, just staying at home. All right. So yeah, hey, thank you guys for all the positive feedback. I really appreciate it. You know, I want this to be useful for you guys. So if you have any feedback that I can help you out more, you can send me a message or you can let me know here. I really hope that this is a useful live for you guys. So that pretty much concludes our C topics. C topics weren't too long. We are going to go into our D topics now. The first one we have is describing people, and this is for negative descriptions of people, okay? So when we want to describe somebody when we want to describe the negative aspects of somebody, when we want to talk about some bad things about some person, we can use these adjectives, these expressions. So this list is pretty much all adjectives. You can use them as adjectives in a sentence. And you can use these anytime you want to talk about somebody, okay? So I'm going to turn off comments. If you guys have questions, go ahead and ask me afterwards when I turn on the comments again. And here we go. So describing people in a negative way, you know, describing the bad things about somebody. Sometimes, you know, people, we don't have to like everything about a person, right? Everybody has some things that are annoying about them. And when we want to talk about it, we can use these adjectives to talk about, you know, the proper things, okay? So the first adjectives are unfriendly and cold. Unfriendly, cold. So when we want to talk about somebody who doesn't make friends easily, or always says things that makes people not like them, okay? The things they say, it makes people not like them. They don't make friends easily. We describe them as unfriendly. We say, she is unfriendly. So what is your sister like? She is a cold person. You know, she doesn't connect to other people easily. She is a cold person. What is your boss like? He is really unfriendly. You know, he doesn't make friends easily. He's just our boss, okay? The next two expressions, short-tempered or quick-tempered. We use this to describe somebody who gets angry quickly or is angry very often with other people, okay? So short-tempered or quick-tempered. So for example, what is your dad like? Oh, he's really quick-tempered. He always gets mad at us. What is your friend like? She's really short-tempered. She's always angry about something, okay? So people who get mad quickly or they're always angry, you can use short-tempered or quick-tempered to describe them. The next adjectives are lazy or slacker. Slacker is a slang that is used to talk about a lazy person, okay? So lazy or slacker, it describes somebody who doesn't do very much. They don't try hard, okay? They try to do as little as possible. So somebody asks you, what is your coworker like? We say, he's really lazy. He's such a lazy person. Or what is your roommate like? He's a slacker. He's such a slacker. A slacker is somebody who's lazy, who doesn't do much. He doesn't help out a lot. It's a slang word. It's informal, so don't use it in your writing. But in speaking, it's a very useful word to describe somebody who is being lazy. Don't be a slacker. Go do your homework. Okay? Don't be a slacker. Go do your homework. All right. The next adjective we use is stupid or dim-witted. Stupid or dim-witted. Somebody who's not very bright, who's not intelligent, we use these adjectives to describe them. So, what's your sister like? Oh, she's so stupid, or she's dim-witted. It's not a nice thing to say about people, but sometimes you want to talk about somebody behind their back. You can say that. The next expression is mean or stingy. Mean or stingy. When we say somebody is mean or stingy, we mean that they don't help other people or they don't give them things easily, okay? Especially stingy. Stingy is somebody who doesn't like to give you anything. Like if you want to borrow money from them, they're always like, no, I'm not going to give you money. If you want to borrow their car or their bike or something, they won't give it to you. So when we say somebody is mean or stingy, it means that they don't like to help other people very much. They don't like to give things to other people, okay? So, what is your brother like? He's really stingy. He never gives me anything. Or he's a mean guy. He doesn't help out a lot around the house, okay? The next adjective we can use is boring or dull. Boring, dull. Somebody who's not interesting, we say they're boring. What is your teacher like? Oh, he's really boring. He puts everyone to sleep. He's such a dull guy. Every time he talks, we fall asleep. Okay, somebody who, when they tell you a story, instead of being excited and listening, you just fall asleep. They're boring or dull. The next adjective is inconsiderate or thoughtless. Inconsiderate, thoughtless. Somebody who doesn't think about other people when they make decisions, you can use these adjectives to describe them. So somebody who makes a decision without considering other people's feelings or without considering if they're going to have an impact on other people, they are inconsiderate or thoughtless. So for example, hey, what's your friend Tom like? Oh, he's such an inconsiderate guy. He never considers anybody else's feelings. Or, what is she like? She's really thoughtless. She never thinks about anybody else. Okay? So inconsiderate and thoughtless is when you don't consider other people. The next one is strict and stern. Strict or stern. Usually we use these to talk about a teacher or a boss or a parent, somebody who gives us a hard time, or it has a lot of rules, okay? It has a lot of rules that we have to follow. So for example, what's your mom like? Oh, she's really strict. She makes me clean my room every day. You know, what's your teacher like? He's a really stern teacher. He gives us homework every day. He's a really stern teacher. When he marks our test, you know, he doesn't forgive anything. So somebody who's strict or stern has a lot of rules you have to follow, and they make you do some things, okay? You can use it about your boss too. You know, my boss is really stern. He doesn't give me any time off. She's very strict. I have to beat her every day at 5 a.m., okay? The next two adjectives are unreliable or flake. Unreliable or flake. So when somebody doesn't do the things that they said they would do, they are supposed to do, we say they are unreliable or a flake. A flake is what we call, it's again a slang, it's a slang word, so it's informal. It's what we use in our speaking. It's what we call somebody who said they're going to do something but they didn't do it. For example, your friend tells you that he's going to meet you at 9 a.m. He doesn't show up at 9 a.m. So you say, that guy is such a flake. That guy is such a flake. You know, he said he'll be here, but he's not. Or, she is so unreliable. She is so unreliable. She told us she's going to pick us up, you know, after school. She's not here. She's so unreliable. Okay? The last adjectives we're going to talk about is dishonest or sketchy. Dishonest or sketchy. A dishonest person is somebody who lies or who steals from other people. Sketchy is sort of the same thing. Sketchy is somebody who's you're not sure about. You're like, what's up with this guy? It can be somebody who lies and steals. Okay? So, sketchy is again a slang word. It's very informal. We use it in an everyday conversation, but it's not for writing. So, if I say somebody is sketchy, it means I can't trust them, okay? Because they lie a lot or they steal things, okay? So, what is your roommate like? Man, he's such a sketchy guy. I can't tell, you know, what he's up to. Or what is your new girlfriend like? She's really dishonest. She lies to me a lot, okay? So someone who's dishonest or sketchy lies or steals or does both of them, okay? They're not very, you can't trust them, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn on comments now. For these topics, you know, describing people, I found the adjectives to be a lot more useful than using like some proverbs or idioms. That's why I'm focusing on the adjectives. Our next topic is actually going to be describing people in positive way, okay? So we talked about how we can describe people in a negative way. The next one, we're going to learn how to do it in a positive way, how to talk about the good things about people, okay? So if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. For those of you who are just joining in, thank you for joining me. Good morning to you. I hope to see you guys every day. And as I say that, tomorrow on Monday, I won't be able to start the session at 11 a.m. So tomorrow morning, we're not going to have a live session. I might have it at some point in the day, but I don't know exactly when I'll be free to do that. So for now, we're just going to say no session tomorrow. If I can, I will have a session, but I don't know. I'm not sure. In case I don't have a session tomorrow, our next session is going to be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the morning. So please join me then. I would love to have you guys here. We're going to continue with our A to Z of topics. I think we're still going to be on the D topics because the D topics I think are a little bit longer. So go ahead and please join me on Tuesday, and we can continue our sessions together. If you have missed any of my previous sessions, you can find the videos on YouTube on the English Turbo channel. So go ahead and check that out. And I'm going to highlight my notes so you guys can find them easier, okay? Hey, Mosa, good to see you. All right, guys, so I'm going to turn off comments and we're going to talk about how we can discuss people positively, how we can talk about the good things, the good aspects of people, okay? So turning off comments for now, here we go. Okay, so the first adjectives, when we want to talk about somebody the good things about somebody, we say they are warm-hearted, or friendly, okay? So when we say somebody is warm-hearted or friendly, it means that they can be friends with other people easily, okay? So, hey, what is your friend Sarah like? She's such a warm-hearted person. She can be friends with anyone. Or, what is your dad like? He's really friendly. He becomes friends with people easily. The next adjective we use is good-looking or a babe. Good-looking or a babe. So, we use this adjective when we want to say somebody looks beautiful. It can be a man or a woman. When someone is handsome, we use these adjectives. So we say, man, that guy is so good looking. Okay, that guy is so good looking. Or, she is a babe. She's such a babe. We can use both of these adjectives either way around. We can say he is a babe. She's so good looking. Okay, they're not gender specific. Babe, I'm going to make a note of this now. Babe is also a term of endearment. So if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can just call them babe. It's kind of like saying honey or dear. But it also means somebody who looks good, okay? So if you say she is a babe, it means she looks good. But if you call your wife or your husband, hey babe, that's okay too. It's like saying, hey honey, hi dear, okay? All right. And the next expression is hard working. Hard working. So somebody who works a lot, who does a lot of, who tries hard, you call them hard working. My dad is really hard working. If somebody studies a lot, you can say they're a nerd. Somebody who's a nerd, they study a lot, I was a nerd in school. People who spend a lot of time studying, it's a very informal way of referring to them, but you can say they're nerds, okay? The next expression or adjective is bright or sharp. Bright or sharp. As somebody who's really smart, who's really intelligent, we say that guy is bright. That guy is really sharp. My brother is such a bright person. He figures everything out quickly. She is so sharp. She always knows what's going on. Okay? The next expression is generous or kind. Generous or kind. So somebody who gives things to other people or is happy to help them out is generous or kind. So my grandma is so generous. She's always giving people things. He is such a kind person. He's always helping people out, okay? So generous or kind. Our next adjective is full of energy or energetic. Full of energy or energetic. Somebody who's always doing something, is always moving around, they never get tired, and they just have a lot of energy in general. We can use these adjectives to describe them. So we can say, she is full of energy. He is so energetic. Okay? The next expressions we can use is thoughtful or considerate. Thoughtful or considerate. As somebody who thinks carefully about other people, they think about how their actions will affect other people. They always think about other people before they do something. We say they are very thoughtful or considerate, you know. We say, she is very considerate. She always thinks of us when she does something. He is such a thoughtful person. He always thinks of our feelings. Okay? And the next expression is easygoing or laid back. Easygoing or laid back. Someone who's really always relaxed or calm. They don't get angry with other people. They're always, you know, letting things go. You say they are easygoing or laid back. You know, my teacher is really easygoing. He doesn't yell at us when we don't do our homework. He doesn't, you know, he lets it go. My mom is really laid back. Whenever I do something bad, you know, she doesn't yell at me. She tries to talk to me, okay? So someone who's easygoing or laid back is somebody who's relaxed, calm, and they don't get angry very easily. The next one is reliable or responsible. Reliable or responsible. So somebody who always does what they say they will do is very reliable or responsible. So for example, my dad is very reliable. Every time he tells me he'll pick me up, he shows up and he picks me up on time. He is a very responsible guy. When he tells you he'll get something done, he'll get it done. Okay? And the last adjective or expression I want to talk about is truthful or honest. Truthful or honest. Somebody who doesn't lie to you, doesn't steal from you, somebody who always says the truth. You can say they're truthful, you know, somebody who doesn't lie. You can say she is very truthful. She is such a truthful person. I've never heard her tell a lie. My brother is really honest. If I lend something to him, he'll always return it to me, okay? So someone who's honest, doesn't cheat, doesn't steal, doesn't lie. Someone who's truthful always tells the truth, okay? All right, guys, so I'm going to turn on comments again. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Thank you guys very much for joining me this morning. I hope you found this session to be useful. We're going to continue on Tuesday because we don't have a session on Monday tomorrow and Tuesday morning. So please join me for that. I'm going to post my notes shortly after this session ends. I'm going to also highlight the session 5 notes for you guys in case you didn't have a chance to take a look at them. I am going to give you some definitions for these last adjectives because, you know, I think there's enough room to do it in the story, so I'll try to do that. So if there is no questions, I hope you guys take good care of yourselves. Check out the other live sessions that the other instructors are putting up. There are a lot of good instructors at English Turbo, and you know, there's some who have a lot of experience. There are ones with different teaching methods, so definitely check them out. Give their lives a try and see if it's helpful for you. Thank you guys again for joining me. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Please take good care of yourselves and have a great day.